Hello everybody and welcome back to another My Porch Prints tutorials. Today we are going to be making some more Christmas tags, so if you've seen our first video, this is sort of a continuation of that same type of project. Today we are going to be making two new ones. These ones are going to be pretty quick and easy to assemble, so we're going to go ahead and use these Christmas library cards to decorate some of our tags, and then we're also going to be using these Christmas Santa pocket tags, and again I will have links for both of these items down in the description box below. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started using those library cards. So I went ahead and inked the edges of everything and already grabbed 4 cards from the Christmas Gnomes kit and the Simply Christmas kit, but you could use any tags that you want. And then I'm also going to be using these skinny word tags, these Christmas skinny word tags that we have in our shop. These might look familiar if you watched our other video. And again, I will have links for everything down below. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started by taking some of this ribbon that I have from Celebrate It. This ribbon has like these 2 little red stripes on it, so we're going to go ahead and use these for decorating. And I'm going to measure out about 7 inches worth of ribbon, and we're going to do that twice, so you should have 2 equal pieces here. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut these in half lengthwise, which will give us 4 pieces. Now this ribbon tends to sort of like strip itself a little bit at the edges once cut, so you could use something else if you don't like that, but if you don't mind sort of that distressed edge, you can go ahead and use them anyway. Alright, and I ended up using them on these tags, but I didn't like it, so I'm going to be changing that later, so just kind of ignore that for now, set your ribbon aside. And instead we are going to be taking this coffee dyed notebook paper that I have, and if you don't have that, we actually sell a coffee dyed notebook paper printout in our shop, so you could just print that on the back of the tags and save yourself some time and trouble. But since I already had this paper, I'm going to just glue my tags onto it using a little bit of Fabri-Tac glue, and this is going to give us some writing space. So I went ahead and fit mine on here pretty tight so I could save paper. I didn't want to waste anything. So I'm going to be using a little bit of cardboard behind it and an X-Acto knife to cut them apart. If you have more space, you don't need to do this, but since mine are so close, I wanted to be careful. So I'll be using an X-Acto knife just to help me separate these pieces here. And then I'll be going in with some scissors to cut off the remainder of the paper and just cut out each of the tags. And then I'm going to go over all of the edges with the Vintage Photo Distress ink here, just to make them look a little more finished. And when you're done, they should look something like this. So I'm going to use these sort of like, I'm thinking like Christmas cards for presents. You could write like to and from on the back of the tags. And then on the library cards, we're going to do the exact same thing. And the idea with these is that you could write maybe like a Christmas note on here, like Merry Christmas, and just some thoughtful words to whoever is receiving the gift. Alright, so now that we've gone ahead and made all of those pieces, we can start assembling. So I'm going to take these library pockets and I'm going to try to find a tag that I think kind of goes with them and also the corresponding library card. So since I had like some blue on this tag, I'll be using the blue deer library card and Christmas pocket here. And once I have all of my pieces sort of sorted and laid out how I like, I'm going to go in with the Fabri-Tac glue and just add a little bit to each of those folding tabs on the library pocket. And then all you have to do is fold those pieces in and sort of glue them down onto the card like so, and that'll give you a little pocket for your public library card. And like I said earlier, I didn't really like the way that these ribbons were on these little word tags. It just didn't seem to fit right for what I was thinking. So instead I'm going to take these word tags and a bulb pin, and I'm going to secure them in the upper left hand corner of the library card. So I'm just going to make a hole using a micro hole punch, but you could use an awl or a needle or anything really. And this might look familiar again if you've seen our first Christmas tags video. Same process here. So just go ahead and add that skinny word tag right up to the top like so. And then I'm going to take a hole punch and punch a hole in the larger card and add an eyelet using an eyelet press And then I'm going to go ahead and use that ribbon right up here through that little eyelet we made. And if you're curious how I tied this, it's real simple. I'm just going to take one of those strips of ribbon that we have, and we're going to fold it in half in the center, just like this, and then sort of squeeze the crease a little bit. That'll kind of help it fit through the eyelet that we have. So just go ahead and sort of thread that through. Take your time with this. And then once you have it about halfway through, you're gonna sort of separate the two pieces here to make a loop. And then using those loose ends, we're just going to go ahead and thread those through the loop that we made and pull them to tighten it. And don't pull too hard if you don't have an eyelet, because that can tear your paper, so just be kind of delicate with this. And once it's tight enough, you can go ahead and sort of splay the ends, and there you go. Alright, so now we can go ahead and decorate. So I'm going to be taking this little piece from our Jolly Christmas Labels kit, and again I will have that link down below. And I'm going to pick 4 different ones that are sort of roughly the same sort of size and shape. And now I'm going to add just a little bit of cheesecloth right to the top of our library card here, and then taking a little bit of that vintage photo distress ink, I'm going to ink the edges of our little label and glue it down right on top of that cheesecloth. And then we can go ahead and tuck that library card into our pocket, and there you go. That is our first tag finished. So we're going to go ahead and do the exact same thing to all of the other pockets, just sort of following the exact same formula here. I think after I sort of had the process down, each of these cards took me probably between 5 and 10 minutes to make max. So if you're kind of in a hurry for the Christmas season, you can go ahead and put all of these things together. And again, you can do whatever you want with these. Like, I changed the ribbon for the blue one since I thought the red sort of clashed with it. So you don't have to use any of the pieces that I'm using here, but you can definitely apply this formula to any card you want to make. And it's a really quick and simple way to put together a really pretty Christmas tag for the holiday season. Alright, so just finishing up that last one, and this is what they look like when they are completely assembled and put together and sort of laid out with each other. Just a cute little Christmas tag with space for writing a nice note. Something like that. You could put these on your tree or on a present or in a Christmas journal. There's lots of different ways you could use these. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started with the second tag here. So we're going to be putting together the Christmas Santa pocket tags. So go ahead and cut everything out. And then I'm going to be taking distress ink in the color Aged Mahogany, and I'm going to be going over each of the large tags and the pockets that go with them. And you can see that color is sort of a nice dark red color. And then we're also going to be folding the edges of the pockets and then going over those with the distress ink as well. And then I'm going to pull some more of those Jolly Christmas labels and those skinny word tags, and we're going to use those to decorate the front of the pocket. So go ahead and pick your pieces and lay them out. That kind of helps me keep organized when I do that. And then we are going to assemble the tags by gluing the pockets down and then adding a little bit of cheesecloth in the bottom left corner here. It's going to be sort of similar to the first tags that we made. And I'm going to take one of those labels and go over it with a bit of that vintage photo distress ink just to make it look a little bit older here. And then I'm going to glue that down on top of the cheesecloth. And with the skinny word tag, you could go ahead and glue them either on top of the label or behind the label. I did both for each of the cards, so I had like 2 in front and 2 behind. And remember to add a good amount of glue to the eyelet just to make sure that it stays. And when you're done, it should look something like this. Now we can go ahead and start filling in the pocket with lots of our ephemera pieces. So sorting them out into large, medium, and small, I'm going to put the larger pieces in the back and smaller pieces in the front, just like this. And don't be afraid to go over some pieces with distress ink if you want to help them look a little more vintage or stand out a bit more. And I'm going to add an eyelet to the top of the tag very similar to the other ones, sort of using an eyelet press to just add that up there. And I'm gonna go in with a little piece of this like rope that I have. It's like a string rope, and I'm going to make that same tie just to add like a little decorative element to the top of the tag. And if you want to, you can always add extra embellishments. Like I'm going to use these small paper clips to add these tickets to some of the ephemera pieces here like this. And if you have ephemera from other kits, you can feel free to add that as well. Like these are from the Christmas Gnome kit, and I think the Simply Christmas kit as well. So I'm just going to be adding those in to bulk the cards up a little bit since I had them laying there. Alright, and when you are finished, they should look something like this, and here you can kind of see what it looks like having the skinny word tag behind the little label versus in front of it. Just kind of add a little bit of variation there. And I went ahead and filled these pockets nice and full. These would make a really good gift for somebody else who potentially crafts, so they could have lots of ephemera pieces they could use in their own journals and projects and things like that. So it's just a really nice way to show somebody that you care and say Merry Christmas. Alright, so that is going to finish today's video. I hope that you got some inspiration for your own Christmas tags, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye!